analog Intel tuner. Let's see here, 100 watts, nothing fancy.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Now you have to run an auto tuner?
Well, I don't have to, but I got a fan dipole cut for 80 and for 40 meters, but I got it tuned in the extra portion of the band, so it's just a wire antenna with a 1-to-1 current balance feeding it. So yeah, it depends on where I'm at on the band. Here I could probably run it without it, but it don't have a tuner inside the radio or nothing.
Oh, roger that. Roger that. So you're an extra?
I am an extra class.
Roger. Well, good to hear you on these bands, Roger. A lot of the extra class get kind of whisper away into those magic other frequencies.
Yeah, it's kind of nice there if it gets congested. Here we're going to have a bunch of technician class operators getting access to the HF band portions of it here coming up towards the end of this year, the beginning of next year.
Oh, Roger, how's that work?
Well, the ARRL and the FCC and of course the manufacturers probably have a collusion together and have decided it in the best interest of amateur radio that if they gave small segments of HF to the technician class licensees, that they would be able to it would promote amateur radio and keep the band plan alive.
Roger, another way of saying sufficient amounts of money transposed from one hand to the other.
There's a nice way of saying it.
Yes, anytime there's large variances from what is to what was, or rather from what was to what is, usually it involves some degree of financial shipment from one place to the other.
Well, the ARRL probably wants to sell more magazines, and the FCC, they just figure that there's more license fees that would be apprehended by them. Uh-oh, got a train or something going by. And then, of course, the manufacturers get to sell more equipment, so everybody makes more money. It's in the best interest of them, not necessarily us.
Roger, Roger. Well, anymore, that seems to be the position of the ARRL. I mean, they do endorse contesting, which I have seen it clogged from one end of the band to the other, many bands. Some of them 2 people on one frequency, some one guy running 4 different frequencies. And you know, it's you can't find a place in edgewise if you're not a contester, Roger.
Right. But so anyway, what class license you hold there, Jim?
General.
All right, very good. What kind of equipment you're running there?
Well, this is an older Yaesu 990, fed by a homebrew condenser microphone, ART preamp, 3rd octave equalizer, and then on the other end of the 990, SB220, Roger. Well,
it is all working for you just fine there. Sporting a pair of 3-500Zs, I guess that means, and what are you running, about 500?
About a KW.
Oh, you're putting the whole KW out there. All right, well, yeah, that's probably the reason why for the good signal.
Roger. Well, yeah, the SB220 is just a jewel. I mean, it just keeps on keeping on, you know.
Yeah, they're a good amplifier. I have a friend of mine that has one, and he's also he collects amplifiers. He's got a whole onslaught of them. But anyways, he likes that one there. He just had bought and put some new tubes in there, so she's ready to bang them out. But anyways, yeah, we're just running. I used to have all that stuff, and I sold everything. I got really discouraged with amateur radio about 4 years ago. Sold everything. Just recently, about maybe 8 months ago, got back into it.
Roger, Darrin. Now, do you do you seem to think that it costs more to buy the equipment back than what it cost the first time?
I did, but this is what I had laying around. I didn't sell it. I told everybody I refused to buy any more equipment. I don't need an amplifier. I've talked everywhere that I wanted to talk without an amplifier. I'm not really into what you would call CB wars, so if I can't make the QSO by way of 100 watts, then we'll do it another day.
Roger, Darrin. Roger, roger on that. Although, I mean, I'm sure back in the back there, 500 watts to a kilowatt it still occupies the brain as far as breaking those pileups.
It does, but I'm just not going to invest no more in it. You know, I use it for a little bit of pleasure and emergency readiness. You know, we live off grid. I produce my own power. We have 30 big solar panels, big inverter that converts from 48 volts to 240 volts AC from 48 volts DC. And so we run the house the same way everybody else does, but we produce our own power, so I just don't need to have a whole bunch of extra appliances laying around that absorb more power than what is really needed for the situation.
Roger. Now tell me a little bit about your off-the-grid power system. How many solar panels, how much current can that produce, at what voltage, and so on and so forth?
Well, I have 30 solar panels. They're 330 watts each, but I link them together to create, anywhere from 125 to 130 volts DC, and it goes down to a charge controller, which converts the 100 some volts down to a 48 volt battery bank. The charge controller does. I charge them up to 57.2 volts float, and when they get to their absorb point of floatage, then they'll float out, and then the panels will basically shut off unless there's a big supply, like my dehydrator. I dehydrate food and stuff like that. If it kicks on, that takes a lot of wattage. There's 1,800 watts right there, consistent, so it'll draw from the solar panels rather than the batteries. And then after the photovoltaic cells discharge from the sunlight, then we operate on a 28 bank battery bank, and which gives me my all the power that I need through the evening hours. Over.
Roger. Now that piece of equipment that transposes the 110, 120 volts down to 48 volts, when that transposes the voltage, has the voltage, does it double the current?
It does. It does. So, if you got, let's say you had 130 volts DC, and we're producing, say, 8 amps. So what will happen is it'll take that 8 amps and it will turn 130 volts of 8 amps into approximately 60 amps at, I'm just giving you a roundabout, 60 amps of power at, let's say, well, I'm hypothetically putting that together. It would probably be more of a, you get a little bit with pi, so you take your volts times your amps, and or you divide it by, let's see here, approximately about 40 amps of DC to the batteries.
Roger that. Now these batteries, you have 28 of these lead cells?
Yeah, they're GC9VKV batteries. They're golf cart batteries. They're 155 amp hours each battery, and they're 12 volts. But I configure them four of them, which creates a 48 volt bank, and I can bring them up to 57.2 volts. Which is approximately like 14.2, 14.3 volts.
Roger. So drainage is like 400, 500 watts is not a problem for 4 or 5 hours?
Hold on, I got TX.
This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Roger, Roger. Well, your enunciator sounded like it was inside your microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyways, what was I going to say there? Where were we at? Oh, voltage, amperage. Yeah, so I have 3 charge controllers for the 3 sets of panels that I have. I ain't going to say they're evenly distributed. That's the reason why I had to get 3 different charge controllers, because I have 1 set of panels that's not matched with the other set. I have 2 sets of 12 and 1 set of 6. And so being they're not exactly even, though I have the output of each charge controller is evenly matched with each other charge controller, but not the inputs. Over.
Roger that. Now, so this is going to represent a sizable amount of area that are populated with photocells. Are they on your roof or in your yard, or how's that?
Well, I built a summer kitchen, and above the summer kitchen, I have a regular roof, and then I have what you call a porch also, and I used 12 of the panels to actually make a roof over my porch. The other panels are above the summer kitchen, then I have 6 of the panels on the barn.
Roger that. So how long have you had this system in place?
We've been off grid now for about 8 years.
Was that 8 years?
8 years after we've been off grid, yeah.
Roger, Roger. And are any power lines running your way so that you could sell some of that energy back?
Well, Duke Energy does not give you money. What they'll do is they'll give you credits. So, like to say that I made 110 kilowatts, I should be able to get 110 kilowatts back for nothing, but that's not really quite how it works out. They charge you a little bit. They don't sell it to you for the same amount that they buy it for. So we run an off-grid system. We don't sell them nothing. We keep it all for ourselves. I'm an electric hoarder.
Roger that. But you do have the power line there just in case?
I do have a power line here just because it was cheaper and more advantageous if I was that it had power there for the next homeowner, so that we don't have to pay for the line being put over to the house. Otherwise, that would be an extra $3,000 just to run a line over. So we just disconnect it and leave it up.
$3,000 to get a connection?
Well, it's a small, short line ran over to the pole. It's probably only a 100-foot line, 150-foot line.
Roger, Roger. Well, that's great. That's amazing. And so your radio shop there is totally off grid, and you don't have to plan your usage or nothing. You have plenty to spare. Roger.
Well, like on gray days, like if it's a real gray day, we have 2 or 3 gray days. Even though the batteries will go to float, the absorb time's not quite there, so I'm not going to run, a washer and dryer that day, I might just run the radio here. There's enough to run the refrigerator and the freezers and stuff like that, the microwave, because, real short time run. But I'm not going to run my dehydrator that day. I'm not going to run no heavy appliances for any length of time.
Oh, roger that, Darrin. We're about to run out of conditions. It seems like. Can you give me your call sign slowly, phonetically, one more time?
All right. Whiskey, Ocean, 9 Echo, W, O,
Whiskey Ocean 9, give me the rest.
Okay.
Whiskey Ocean 9 Echo, Roger.
Roger.
All right, and you're in English, Indiana, Roger?
Roger.
All right, Darren. Well, we have a QSO-VLOG page on YouTube that we do QSOs and record them and post them, and we've been running our trusty video recorder here for our little QSO, and we'll probably be posting this sometime in the next 2 or 3 days. And what you do, if you'd like to hear yourself, you would go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that'll take you to the QSO-VLOG page. And right at the top of that page, there's one that is a list of all of our QSOs. It's got like 180 some odd QSOs in it. And if you click on that, when it opens up, this QSO will be right towards the top, just under Art Bell. Roger?
Okay, very good. Well, we don't have internet here, but if I ever get the ambition to get to the library or something like that, I might check that out. I have some buddies of mine that have those flex radios, and they play back my QSO every once in a while just so I can hear myself, but I'd rather not until I hear myself. I've heard myself in the past, and I sound like an operator with a plug nose.
You sound really good. Sound really good. In the beginning of our QSO, you were extremely quiet. I mean, it was just like you were here, you know. And as Mother Nature does, as time goes on, we kind of, you know, lose the edge, and she takes it all back and reduces us to static, which probably we are close to now. But anyway, we do have it, and we will post it. So good talking to you there, and appreciate it. And good going, Darren, on your off-the-grid stuff. Roger?
Hi, very good. And let me, for my record here, get your call sign.
Roger, Roger. Call sign is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. The name is Jim, and we're towards Louisville, Kentucky, just on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville.
All right, very good there, Jim. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor with the Ocean 9 Echo. All right, well, hey, it was listening to you and talking to you, and hopefully we can do it again. And every once in a while, during one of the field days, they'll have a field day down here at the Sycamore Springs Park. We have a pretty good one. We get quite a few of the guys. I'm the race use director also for Crawford County. Haven't been real active in it lately. Been doing other things. But anyways, once in a while you can look up that call sign, or KC9OLF, Kilo Charlie 9, OLF, Old Lazy Fox, and you can get the Clarion News there, and there's some articles about the club and the things that we do for the EMA and stuff like that, and races. But anyways, we'll go ahead and sign with you there before the condition has dropped completely out there, Jim. So we'll say 7-3 to you and let you clear on your final there, KC9VKV with the Ocean 9 Echo.
Roger, Roger, Darren. 3's that away, sir. Have yourself a good day, a good morning, and a good afternoon. We'll catch you later. This is KC9VKV.